Imagine a small village, somewhere in France. The year is 1570. The sun has gone down. Darkness has fallen like a heavy blanket. Only light from dancing flames, long, spooky shadows on rough stone walls. They are afraid of their neighbors. A new idea about God has arrived. It has split their world in two. This fear was a constant companion across 16th century Europe. A time of immense change. One book, the Bible, was making kingdoms tremble. What began in whispers would become a fire that set Europe ablaze. In the middle of the 16th century, France was a kingdom deeply and dangerously divided. On one side stood the Catholics, the majority of the population. They were loyal to the traditional church. But now new thinkers appeared. John Calvin in France. Read the Bible for yourself, in your own language. Faith as a personal connection to God, not controlled by priests and popes. The way you prayed decided who you were. It decided friend or enemy. Tension grew day by day, month by month. Queen Mother Catherine de Medici tried to keep the peace, a master of politics, playing sides to find compromise. But hatred ran too deep. Violence exploded again and again, small massacres, skirmishes, full-blown battles. Armies formed, led by rival nobles. 40 years of brutal civil wars left a trail of destruction and death. In August 1572, it seemed like peace might finally have a chance. A grand wedding was planned in Paris, the bride, a Catholic princess, the groom Henry of Navarre, a Protestant prince. Thousands of Huguenot nobles and their followers flocked to the capital to celebrate. Then an assassin tried to kill Admiral Coligny. He was wounded but survived. The Huguenots were outraged. The royal court was in panic. In the early hours of August 24th, a signal was given, the ringing of a church bell. This was the start of a coordinated slaughter. Royal guards dragged Admiral Coligny from his bed and killed him. Catholic mobs, incited by radical preachers and a lust for blood, began hunting down Huguenots. They killed men, women, and children without mercy. The streets of Paris literally ran red with blood. The killing continued in Paris for 3 days and spread to other cities across France. No one knows exactly how many people died. Estimates range from thousands to many more. The French wars of religion would rage on, more viciously than ever. But France was not alone in turmoil across the Rhine. German peasants were also inspired by new ideas. Let's travel now to a different place, the German lands of the Holy Roman Empire in the 1520s. For the common person, life was incredibly hard. Imagine waking before sunrise to work the land every single day. Your home is a simple hut, perhaps shared with your animals. Your clothes are rough. Your food is basic, mostly bread and porridge. A drought, a flood, a hailstorm could mean starvation for your family. The peasants did not own the land they worked. It belonged to a nobleman, a prince, a bishop. They had to give large shares of grain, vegetables, livestock, and work on the Lord's land for free. Into this world of simmering resentment came the new ideas of Martin Luther. His message that all believers were equal and that Scripture was the authority was electrifying. Peasants listened to preachers who promised freedom and justice. Peasants gathered in armed bands. Scythes, flails, and pitchforks became weapons. They drew up a manifesto, the 12 Articles, combining social fairness with the language of the gospel. The demands were surprisingly moderate: choose your pastor, end the worst forms of serfdom, restore commons. They sent a copy to Martin Luther, hoping for his blessing. At first, Luther sympathized with the peasants' complaints. Their calls for fair treatment and an end to harsh feudal burdens resonated with his message that all believers were equal before God. But as their movement grew violent, burning monasteries, attacking nobles, threatening social order, his attitude shifted. Luther feared chaos more than injustice. He believed God had placed rulers in authority and that rebellion against them would bring disaster. In a furious pamphlet, he urged the princes to crush the uprising without mercy. For the peasants, this was a devastating betrayal. For Luther, it was a choice to preserve stability, even at the cost of siding with the powerful. The princes mustered professional armies, cannons, cavalry, disciplined infantry. The peasants were courageous but ill-equipped and poorly organized. What followed were massacres, not battles. The lords crushed hope with overwhelming force. At Frankenhausen, the peasant army, led by Thomas Müntzer, was annihilated. Thousands were slaughtered, villages burned, fields salted. Captured leaders were tortured and executed as warnings. The defeat was total. Around 100,000 peasants were killed. Their situation became worse than before. The lords clamped down, stripping away rights. The dream of biblical justice died. Luther's reputation was stained. Many felt betrayed. Hope had been crushed under the heel of an iron boot. The German Peasants' War became a brutal lesson in the cost of challenging the established order. When we look back at these terrible wars of faith, we are left with a powerful and unsettling feeling. We have their letters, their decrees, their pamphlets. But what about the Huguenot family hiding in their Parisian cellar? Their diaries, letters home, their individual voices are mostly lost to us. We have the 12 Articles, a precious glimpse, but not the private hopes and fears. History is often told through the powerful, the winners who could record their thoughts. Thinking about these missing voices changes how we see the past. It forces us to read between the lines and imagine lives that were silenced. These conflicts leave a question that is still relevant today. Whose voices are we hearing, and whose are missing? Whose version of faith becomes law? The king, the preacher, the individual? The struggle to live together when we believe different things continues to echo through our world. These struggles over faith and power were not isolated events. They were part of the revolutions that transformed Europe between 15 and 1800s, shaping kingdoms, communities, and everyday lives. Every standard has a story. This was the Age of Revolutions, Standard 4A.
Thanks for watching Histoscript. If you learned something new today, or just love the hidden side of history, give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story your textbook skipped.
History isn't just dates, it's secrets, myths, and the strange truths behind it all. Stay curious.